afternoon.
And I am delighted to be here among so many descendants of the Tuskegee-Rosenwald Schools, and in this particular setting. Before this panel can even begin our conversation about the Tuskegee-Rosenwald Rural Community Schools, the creativity of the progenitors of the school building program, the unique partnerships that were spawned, or our respective efforts to save and preserve these historic national treasures. We must, as historians and keepers of the stories, give an honest accounting of why separate schools for Black children were necessary in the first place. At the end of Reconstruction in 1877, less than 15 years after the Civil War ended, the slaveholding and rebellious states were forgiven and reinstated into the Union. All of the strides which were made were summarily dismantled and replaced with stringent Black codes and Jim Crow segregation, codified into law by legislature after legislature. These oppressive laws stripped African Americans of our right to vote, hold public office, go to school with white children, live in certain neighborhoods, be treated at a hospital of your choice, or seek lodging, food at white-only establishments. It is against this backdrop of laws and underfunding of the freedmen schools for Black Americans that the creative genius of women and men like Dr. Booker T. Washington and Dr. George Washington Carver and others sought to improve the lives of our people. Years before the partnership developed between Tuskegee Institute and Julius Rosenwald, Black leaders were already working in rural Black communities and saw the need for self-determination as it related to education. As Dr. Washington wrote in the Annals of the American Academy of Political Science in March 1912, these visionaries had already begun, I quote, to tax themselves in order to build schoolhouses and lengthen the school year.
All right.
End quote. So it is important and necessary that for us to tell that piece of our story, because the Black communities were the driving forces behind the establishment of the rural community schools.
That's right.
Without the community demanding the schools through their grassroots efforts, they would not have been constructed, writes Dr. Kwesi Daniels, head of architecture department at Tuskegee University. It is also worth pointing out that during this progressive era, Black communities organized successful, beneficial, and fraternal organizations, self-help organizations, literary clubs, debate clubs, all to elevate the Black community and enrich their lives. Black private and land grant and normal schools, which were established during Reconstruction, continued to dot the landscape. And Tuskegee was one, Institute was one such school. And it attracted the brightest and the best graduates from Hampton and MIT and Howard University. So they supplied a ready workforce for what would become the community schools. And before this partnership that we're going to talk about today began, they had already laid the foundation. Mm-hmm. So what did they need as really newly freed Black people? They needed money. Mm-hmm. And so Dr. Washington, being the prolific fundraiser that he was, tapped into his already established networks with Northern industrialists who admired his self-help philosophy and his practical or self-help organizational skills. And that is where my friend Stephanie Deutsch will take up.
All right, Muriel.
Thank you, Muriel. And thank you for giving